Let's dive into the 1967 no mint mark quarter. You might be wondering, what's so special about a 1967 quarter that doesn't have a mint mark? It's actually a great question. To understand why this quarter is so unique, we need to rewind a bit to the mid-1960s. During this time, the US Mint started making quarters without mint marks for certain years, which was pretty unusual. Now, most coins have a mint mark, which tells you where they were made, whether it was Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But between 1965 and 1967, something strange happened. The US Mint decided to omit mint marks from certain coins, especially during those high production years. So, if you stumbled upon a quarter from 1967 without a mint mark, it was definitely out of the ordinary. Now, what's the big deal with this missing mint mark? Well, in coin collecting, rarity is king. Coins that don't follow the typical pattern tend to become rare, and rare coins usually mean big bucks. A quarter without a mint mark, especially in the 1967 production year, is considered a valuable anomaly. Coin collectors quickly recognized that these mint markless quarters were much less common than their mint-marked counterparts, and that rarity made them highly sought after. So, let's talk value. You might be surprised by how much these coins can actually be worth. In 2014, one of these 1967 no mint mark quarters, graded in nearly perfect condition, sold for a staggering $6,250 at auction. I know, over $6,000 for a coin that many of us would pass by in our pocket change. It's pretty wild, right? But that's the power of rarity and the value it can bring in the world of coin collecting. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How can a coin from the late 60s, one that's not even that old, be worth so much? Well, the answer lies in a combination of factors. First off, coins from this era were produced in very high quantities, so most of them got worn out and circulated heavily. That means that finding one in excellent, or even near perfect, condition is very rare. It's not just about having a 1967 quarter, it's about having one that's been well preserved over the decades. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Now, let's break down how this happens. The US Mint removed mint marks during a period of intense production, possibly to save time or streamline the process. But by doing so, they created a small but significant number of coins that didn't conform to the usual minting standards. That small detail, something as simple as missing a mint mark, made these coins different, and in the world of numismatics, that's the fancy word for coin collecting. Different means rare, and rare means valuable. But you might be wondering, could I have one of these coins without realizing it? Well, it's certainly possible. If you happen to have a 1967 quarter lying around, it's worth taking a closer look. If you find that it's missing a mint mark and is in decent condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune. And if you're lucky enough to have a 1967 no mint mark quarter in near perfect condition, you might want to get it professionally graded. Coins in excellent shape can make a huge difference in price, just like that $6,250 sale. In conclusion, the 1967 no mint mark quarter is a fascinating example of how small details can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. What started as a simple change in minting procedures ended up creating an incredibly rare and valuable piece of American history. So, the next time you're digging through your change jar, remember to keep an eye out for those little oddities. They just might be worth more than you think. Next up, let's talk about the 1972 no mint mark quarter. If you're already familiar with the 1967 quarter we just discussed, this one might sound a bit similar. Like the 1967 version, the 1972 quarter is missing its mint mark, but there's a bit more to the story that makes it stand out. See, by 1972, the US Mint was still actively using mint marks on most coins, so having a 1972 quarter without one is pretty unusual. Most quarters from this year were either stamped with the D, the mint mark from the Denver Mint, or came from Philadelphia with no mint mark at all, as was the standard for coins made in Philadelphia. But here's where it gets interesting. During 1972, a small batch of Washington quarters was struck without any mint mark at all, and these mint markless coins are super rare to find today. In fact, you won't see them in circulation nearly as often as their mint-marked counterparts. So, why is this so important? Well, rarity drives value in coin collecting, and these 1972 no-mint mark quarters are a perfect example of that. Most people probably wouldn't even think twice about a regular 1972 quarter, they'd just toss it into their pocket change. But if you know what to look for, that small anomaly, no mint mark, can make a huge difference. In fact, back in 2014, one of these rare 1972 no-mint mark quarters sold for a jaw-dropping $3,055 at auction. That's right, $3,000 for a coin you could have easily overlooked. It's crazy how these little details, like the lack of a mint mark, can turn a simple coin into a treasure. Now, I know what you might be thinking, that's a lot of money for a 1972 quarter, but why is it so valuable? Well, let's break it down a little more. For starters, the 1972 quarters that were produced without mint marks are just plain hard to find. Most coins produced that year had either the DA mint mark for Denver or were made in Philadelphia without a mint mark, but only a small handful were made without any mint mark at all. So, these no mint mark quarters have become a rare find for collectors. But it's not just the rarity that drives up the value, it's also the condition of the coin. As you might expect, most coins from this era were heavily circulated, meaning they've been in people's pockets, dropped on the floor, and tossed around for decades. So, finding one of these 1972 no-mint mark quarters in good shape is an even bigger deal. The better the condition, the higher the value. Coins that are in near-perfect shape, with minimal wear and tear, are worth significantly more. Just think about it, if you've got a 1972 Washington quarter without a mint mark in good condition, you could have a rare gem on your hands. Even though it might not fetch quite as much as the 1967 no mint mark quarter, which sold for over $6,000, it's still a valuable coin. And if you find one of these in a coin roll or in a junk drawer, it could easily be worth thousands if it's in top-notch shape. Coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 1972 no mint mark quarter is a perfect example of how small details can lead to big payoffs. That little missing mint mark is like a secret clue that only the most dedicated collectors can recognize. It's a reminder of how important it is to pay attention to the small stuff when it comes to coin collecting. You never know what treasure you might stumble upon in your change jar or in a pile of coins at the flea market. So, if you ever find a 1972 Washington quarter with no mint mark, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to check its condition. It might just be worth more than you think. And who knows, if you hang on to it long enough, it could be the kind of rare find that makes you a pretty penny, just like that $3,055 auction sale from 2014. To wrap it up, the 1972 no mint mark quarter is a fantastic example of how coin collecting isn't just about the coins you see every day, it's about understanding the rarities, the history, and the small details that make certain coins stand out. So next time you're digging through your change, keep an eye out for those special ones, they might just be worth thousands. Now, let's move on to the 1969 no mint mark quarter, a coin that's really captured the attention of collectors over the years. Just like the 1967 and 1972 versions we've already talked about, this one is missing its mint mark. But there's something special about the 1969 version that really makes it stand out and drive up its value, its incredible grade. So, what makes the 1969 no mint mark quarter so valuable? Well, in 2014, one of these coins in MS 67 Plus grade, yes, that's mint state 67 Plus, sold for an impressive $3,290 at a heritage auction. You're probably wondering, what exactly does MS 67 Plus mean, and how does it make this coin so valuable? Let me break it down for you. In the world of coin collecting, coins are graded based on their condition. The higher the grade, the better the condition of the coin. The MS stands for mint state, which indicates that the coin was never circulated and remains in the kind of pristine condition that makes it nearly as flawless as the day it was minted. The grade 67 Plus means the coin has minimal wear and imperfections, making it pretty much as good as it gets when it comes to coins from this era. Now, consider this, by 1969, the US Mint was producing a huge number of coins, and many of them were circulated widely. That means most of them were worn down from use, scratched, dinged, and even bent out of shape. Finding a 1969 no-mint mark quarter in excellent condition is extremely rare, which is what makes the ones that are in perfect condition so valuable. Combine the rarity of the no-mint mark feature with a top-notch MS67 Plus grade, and you've got a coin that's truly a gem in the world of numismatics. So, what does this all mean for you as a collector? Well, imagine walking into a coin shop or auction with a 1969 no-mint mark quarter in MS67 Plus condition. You could walk out with thousands of dollars. That's the kind of potential a coin in pristine condition holds. It's a prime example of how the condition of a coin plays a massive role in determining its value. But what makes these specific quarters so valuable overall? It's all about three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. The first part, rarity, should be pretty obvious by now. Coins without mint marks are harder to find, especially ones that are in mint condition. It's the rarity of the feature that makes them attractive to collectors. And then when you add the fact that the coin is in outstanding condition, you've got something that truly stands out in the world of coin collecting. The third factor is demand. Coin collectors are constantly on the lookout for these rare and unusual pieces. Washington quarters from certain years, especially ones that have a missing mint mark or come in top-tier condition, are highly sought after. These coins hold a special place in the history of US coinage, and collectors just can't get enough of them. And here's another big reason why these coins are so appealing: historical significance. Washington quarters represent an important era in US coinage, and coins from specific years and mintages carry a special appeal. For example, 1969 was a time when the country was seeing major shifts, and these coins provide a glimpse into that era. When you're holding one of these rare, mint-condition quarters, you're not just holding a piece of metal, you're holding a piece of American history. Now, to wrap things up, here's the key takeaway: if you're lucky enough to own a 1967, 1972, or 1969 no-mint mark quarter, or any other rare coins for that matter, you might be sitting on something worth thousands of dollars. The value of these coins is a perfect example of how important rarity and condition are in the world of coin collecting. If you think you might have one of these coins, don't just let it sit in your drawer. Take the time to get it professionally graded and appraised. You never know what kind of treasure you might have tucked away in your change jar or coin collection. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Keep an eye out for those hidden gems, and we'll see you in the next one.